He carries a mirror of polished obsidian, and the mirror smokes. Black glass gives back a face, and behind the face a darkness with no bottom. He looks into that darkness and sees everything, every house in every city on the plateau, every word spoken behind a closed door at night, every thought a man has before he decides to hide it. No one sees him looking. He is the cold that comes through a doorway when the doorway is shut. He is the sound of footsteps in an empty street. They stop when you stop. One of his names is Night Wind. Wind is the shape a thing takes when it wants to be everywhere and touched by nothing. The Aztecs called him Titlacauan. It means we are his slaves, and he was not the god who punished the wicked. He was the god who ruined whoever he chose to ruin. He never gave a reason. No one ever asked him for one twice. In the beginning there is one God who is two, male and female in a single body, seated above the highest of the 13 heavens. 4 suns come out of that union. One is red, one is white, one is blue, one is black. The black sun takes the north. The north holds the cold, the night, the obsidian, and the road the dead walk down. His brothers are given colors and quarters and work. He is given the mirror. This division of the 4 comes from a book set down after the conquest. Spanish ink recording Nahua memory. Other accounts arrange the brothers differently, and some name them differently again. What the accounts agree on is which of the 4 was strongest. Below the heavens there is only water. Nothing floats on it. Nothing stands. The gods make things and set them on the surface. The surface takes them because something lives in the water. Her name is Cipactli. She has the long jaws of a caiman and hide ridged like bark. There are mouths at every joint of her, at the elbows, at the knees, in the folds of her belly. All of them are open. She does not hunt. She waits, and whatever the world becomes, she eats it before it finishes becoming. So the black god walks to the edge of the water and puts his foot in. He does not throw a spear. He does not send anything ahead of himself to test the depth. He stands at the edge of the world with his leg in the dark. He waits to be bitten. She takes it. The jaws come up and the water turns over. While she is busy with her mouth full, Quetzalcoatl comes down on her back. The 2 of them hold her. They pull in opposite directions and they open her along the whole length of her body. The noise of it is the first noise there has ever been. Her spine becomes the mountains. Her hide becomes the flat country. Her hair becomes the trees and the long grass on the hills. Water runs out of her and keeps running. Those are the rivers, and they have not stopped. Some accounts said she never actually died. They said the mouth stayed open under the ground. They said the earth cried out in the night with a voice. They said it refused to give up its maize. They said it would not be quiet until it was fed hearts. Those are accounts of what the land wanted, told by the people who fed it. The black god comes back out of the water. His right leg ends above the ankle. He does not grow it back. He does not hide it. In every painted book the Aztecs made, the leg stops where she closed her jaws. Something has been put in the space where the foot used to be. Sometimes a serpent hangs down out of the wound. Sometimes there is a round plate of black glass. Out of the glass rises a curl of smoke, Tezcatlipoca, smoking mirror. The mirror is not an ornament and it is not a wound dressing, it is an instrument. Aztec priests kept discs of obsidian for exactly this purpose. They polished the stone until it held an image. Then they read the surface for what was coming and for what was being hidden from them. The god does not need to be told anything. He owns the original. There is another name they gave him, Moyakoyetzin, the one who invents himself. He answers to nothing outside his own decision. He was not made for a purpose and he serves none. So the world is standing on the body of the animal that bit off his foot. He walked into the water knowing what was in it. He paid the foot on purpose. Then he set the price in his own flesh where everyone could see it. He wore it for the rest of time. He is the only god in that pantheon who ever gave something up. The world does not last. There have been worlds before this one, 4 of them. Each one ended badly. The Aztecs numbered them by the sun that lit them. The first sun was Xilotl for jaguar. Tezcatlipoca was that sun. He is not a warm light. He hangs over a country of giants. They are strong enough to pull trees out of the ground with their hands. They are heavy enough that when they fall they do not get up. They eat acorns. They build nothing that lasts. He shines on them and they live under him. That is the first world, and it goes on a long time. Then Quetzalcoatl comes with a staff in his hand. He knocks his brother out of the sky. Tezcatlipoca falls into the water. What comes up out of the water is not a god with a mirror, it is a jaguar. It goes into the country of the giants at dusk. It takes them apart, all of them, and it does not stop early. When it is finished, there is nothing left alive on the land. The first world is over. Then Quetzalcoatl becomes the sun. Tezcatlipoca waits. In his own time he strikes his brother down with a blow of his foot. Wind takes that world. The people who survive it are turned into monkeys and put in the trees. 2 more suns follow. One ends in fire and one ends in flood. The people of the flood become fish. The 5th sun is the one over us now. It was made at Teotihuacan in the dark. Gods threw themselves into a fire to get it moving. It is called for movement. It will end in earthquake. The sources do not fully agree on the order of the suns. They do not agree on who ruled which. What they agree on is the shape of the thing. 2 brothers, one after another, each holds the sky until the other takes it away from him. Nothing they build together stays built. Every world in the account is a world one of them ended. And it is not finished between them. It has only moved down to the ground. Tollan is the greatest city that has ever existed. Cotton comes out of the ground already colored, red and yellow and green. Nobody there has ever had to dye anything. The ears of maize are so thick that a man carries one at a time. Cacao grows where cacao has no business growing. Birds with feathers worth more than gold nest in the streets. Nobody nets them. In Tollan nobody needs to. There are houses built of shell. There are houses of turquoise and houses walled with the green feathers of the Quetzal. The man who rules it is a priest. His name is Quetzalcoatl and he lives like something under a vow. He fasts. He bathes in cold water in the middle of the night, every night, without missing one. He opens his own legs with maguey thorns and gives the blood. He does not drink. He does not go to women. He keeps his face covered at all times. He has ruled Tollan for years. In all that time he has offered his gods snakes and birds and butterflies. He has never once offered a human being. Tezcatlipoca decides to take the city apart. He does not raise an army. He comes with 2 others, and the 3 of them agree on a plan. The plan begins with a mirror. He comes to the palace as an old man. He tells the pages at the door that he has brought something the king needs to see. They turn him away. He comes back. They turn him away again. He comes back a 3rd time and gives them a message. He has brought the king his own flesh that gets him through the door. Quetzalcoatl has never seen his own face. He is old. He does not know it. He has spent a lifetime with his face wrapped, and no one has been permitted to tell him what is happening underneath. The old man holds up the glass, sunken eyes, loose skin folded over the bone, a mouth pulled down at the corners, a face that people would not follow and could not love. He puts his hands over it. He says his people must never see this. He says he will not leave the room again. And the old man is very sorry and very helpful, and he happens to know a feather worker. They bring in a man named Coyat Linahual. He makes the king a mask of turquoise and a beard of red feathers. He builds a crown, he paints the mouth and sets the teeth. Quetzalcoatl looks again and he is beautiful, and he is not himself. He is delighted. He goes back out to his people. The god of the smoking mirror has done no violence at all. He showed a man what he looked like. The man agreed to become someone else. The door is open now. The old man comes back a few days later with something in a cup. It is white and it is foaming and it comes from the heart of the maguey. He says it is medicine. Quetzalcoatl refuses it. The old man does not push. He only suggests that the king dip a finger and taste, so as not to insult a gift. He tastes it, then he asks for the cup. He drinks one, then a second, then a 3rd and a 4th. The old man pours a 5th and mentions that a 5th is customary. His companions are drinking too. Everyone in the room is very happy. And Quetzalcoatl says a name. His sister is called Quetzalpetlatl. She lives at Nanoalco under a vow of her own. He sends messengers to bring her, and she comes. They give her a cup, then they give her 5. That night nobody bathes in cold water, nobody kneels, nobody bleeds himself at midnight, and no prayers are said. The two of them lie down together. The account does not soften it and does not explain it away. He wakes up in the morning knowing what he has done. He does not blame the old man. He sits in the ruin of 40 years of discipline and he sings. The song is about his hair and his house and the day he was born. The sense of it is that his time in Tollan is finished and that he finished it himself. Then he starts giving orders, not for a search, for a departure. Here the accounts stop lining up, and that is worth saying plainly. The codices put a second king in Tollan named Humak. They do not agree on whether he ruled beside Quetzalcoatl or after him or in another Tollan entirely. What follows is set down in the same books, in the same city, with the same god working. Tezcatlipoca comes back into Tollan as a Huastic from the coast. He comes in naked. He sets out green chiles in the market and squats behind them to sell. He wears nothing at all. He does this every day in the open, where the whole city passes. Humak has a daughter. She watches the market from the palace. She sees him and she keeps seeing him, and something goes wrong in her. She stops eating. Her body begins to swell, and the swelling has no cause anyone can find. The women around her work out what she has been looking at. They tell her father. Humak sends for the chili seller. The man is gone. Criers go through the whole city calling for a naked Huastic, and nobody can produce him. Then somebody finds him back in the market behind his chiles, as though he has been there all along. They bring him in. They try to put clothes on him and he will not have them. They wash him and cut his hair and stand him in front of the girl. She recovers, and Humak, who has a swollen daughter and no better options, gives her to him in marriage. Tollan does not take it well. The city has watched its king hand a princess to a naked foreigner who sells vegetables. The city says so out loud until Humak cannot walk through it. So Humak finds a solution. There is a war at Zacatepec. He sends his new son-in-law to it. He sends him at the front with a crowd of dwarfs and cripples for an army. Then he gives the Toltec soldiers their real orders. They are to leave him there. The enemy closes on the position and the Toltecs walk away. He kills them, all of them. The dwarfs are still standing when the Toltecs come back to find a body. There is no body. There is a man walking home out of a field of dead men. Humak has no choice now. He puts feathers on him and paints his face and brings him in as a war captain. The city that wanted him dead in the morning dances for him in the evening. Then the god goes to work in the open. He sits down in the middle of Tollan and roasts maize. The smell of it carries through the whole city and people come out of their houses to find it. The account said the ones who came to the smell did not go home. Then he calls a festival. He tells all of Tollan to come and sing. They come, everyone, the whole city. The place is called Tezcatlipoca, where a stone bridge crosses a ravine. He sits with a drum in the last of the light and starts the song. Nobody has heard the song before and everybody knows the words. The words come into the mouth as fast as he sings them. The drum picks up, the dance packs tighter. It is dark now, and there are too many people on too little ground, and none of them can stop. It goes on to midnight. Then he takes them onto the bridge. He breaks the stone under them. They go down into the water in the dark. The account said the ones who fell were turned to stones. Nobody counts them. Everyone who could have counted them was on the bridge. He is not finished. He goes into the center of the city and puts a small figure on the palm of his hand. He makes it dance. The crowd wants to see. The people at the back push and the people at the front cannot move. The ones who go down are walked over. By the time the figure stops dancing, there are dead people in that square, and their neighbors' feet killed them. Then he tells them the truth, in the most useful way available to him. He says the dancing is sorcery. He says he is the sorcerer. He tells them to stone him. They stone him. He dies. They leave the body where it falls. It begins to rot at once, and what comes off it is not a smell. Anyone who breathes it dies. So they come to drag the body out of the city, and the body cannot be lifted. For men cannot shift it, 10 cannot. They put ropes on it, and the ropes come apart. Every man who goes down when a rope snaps does not get back up. The more of them who pull, the more of them die. They get it out eventually. By then the corpse has killed more of Tollan than the stoning did. The city has spent days dragging a dead god through its own streets, losing a man at a time. Quetzalcoatl burns his house of silver and his house of shell. He buries what he cannot carry in the canyons and under the mountains. The accounts said the cacao trees turned to mesquite at his order. They said the precious birds went east ahead of him. Then he takes the road out of the city and walks. The last of his people go behind him. He does not look back at it. At the water's edge, the accounts split one final time. In one, he makes a raft out of serpents and goes out onto the sea and is not seen again. In the other, he builds a fire on the shore and walks into it himself. His ashes go up as birds. His heart goes up as the morning star, which rises before the sun and is rising still. Behind him, Tollan stands empty in the good country. Colored cotton is still coming up in the fields, and there is nobody left to pick it. Some scholars read this whole sequence as history in costume. In that reading, Tollan is the real city of Tula. The fall is a real political rupture, a priesthood driven out by a warrior faction. A real king is exiled by men who won, and who then named their own side after a god. In that reading, Tezcatlipoca is a word the winners used for what they had done. The books themselves make no such claim. The books say a god came to a perfect city wearing a disguise, and stayed until it was gone. He does not only work on kings. Tezcatlipoca is one of his names, and it means night and wind. It also describes a method. He arrives without being seen. He is felt as a change in the air. He is gone before anyone can put a hand on the place where he was. The Aztecs kept lists of what he sounded like. A man walking home late hears wood being chopped behind the houses, steady, patient, at an hour when nobody chops wood. A woman is heard crying in the street, and she is not in the street. A bundle of ashes sits in a doorway with no footprints anywhere near it. Something the size of a skull follows a man down a road, and it is rolling, and it keeps his pace exactly. These were written down as omens. The people who wrote them were not writing fiction. They were writing instructions for when it happens to you. The young men of the city belonged to him. There was a school in every district called the Tezcatli, the House of Youths. He was its patron, under another of his names, Cipactli, the young man. Boys went in and swept the temple and carried firewood in the dark. They were made to bleed. They were taught to dance at night and to take pain without changing their faces. All of it aimed at one thing. Each of them was to bring back a living captive from a battlefield. Their whole future was one man they had not met yet. So they went out at night looking for the god on purpose. There is something that walks the streets after midnight. The Aztecs called it Tezcatli, the night axe. It announces itself with a sound exactly like an axe going into wood, over and over, coming closer. A man who follows that sound finds the source of it standing in the road. It has no head. Where the head should be, there is nothing. The chest is open, and the opening in the chest swings wide and slams shut. It has been making that sound all night to find out who will come and look. Most men run. The accounts said the ones who ran did not do well afterward. They said the man who turned his back was already finished. He would sicken or lose everything he had, or be taken in the first battle of his life. The other kind of man walks up to it. He puts his hand inside the chest and takes hold of the heart. Then he holds on. The chest keeps slamming. He does not let go. He does not ask for anything either, because that is not how it is done. He waits for the thing in the road to make an offer, and it offers thorns, maguey spines, into the hand, and the number of them is the answer. Each thorn is a captive he will take alive. It will try to give him one he is supposed to demand for. The accounts said a man who accepted less had settled cheap with a god. He would then live exactly the life he had agreed to. That is Tezcatlipoca's night work. He puts a headless thing in the road, in a city where courage is the only currency a poor young man has. Then he waits to see who comes down the street with his hand out. Every year the Aztecs chose a man to be him, not to represent him, not to play him in a pageant. To be him in the streets for a full year, worshipped by the city as the god himself. The system ran so precisely that next year's man was chosen while this year's was still alive. He is picked out of the war captives, and the standard is inhuman. He cannot have a scar. He cannot have a mark, a mole, a crooked tooth, a lazy eye, a stammer. His body has to be straight and evenly made, not too tall, not short. shoulders level, nose fine, hair long and smooth and falling to the shoulder. The priests inspected them the way a carver inspects stone. Men were rejected for one thing wrong. Then they take the one with nothing wrong with him and spend a year finishing him. He is taught to play the clay flute. He is taught how to hold it and how to carry a bundle of flowers in the other hand. He is taught to carry a tube of tobacco and to walk slowly with his head at the right angle. He is taught to speak well and to greet people graciously. Attendants live with him and go where he goes. They are not guards exactly. He is never once alone. He is painted black. Feathers go in his hair, shells in his ears, gold on his arms, jade at his throat. Bells are tied at his legs. Flowers are put in both hands. Then they open the door and let him walk into the city. He goes through Tezcatlipoca playing the flute. People come out of their houses. They kneel in the road in front of him. They touch the ground and put the dust to their lips. They ask him for things. They ask for health and for good fortune and for their children. He is a prisoner of war who should have been killed on arrival. Now grown men weep in the street because he walked past them. He is expected to bless them. He blesses them. He does this for a year. 20 days before the end, they cut his hair. They cut it short and tie it up on his head with tassels, the way a captain of war wears it. Then they bring him for women. They are given the names of goddesses, Tezcatli, Zilanan, Atlatinan, Toxcatl. For 20 days they are his wives, and they are with him constantly. The city feeds him and sings to him. This is the best part. Everyone involved knows how many days are left. 5 days out, the feasting moves out of the city. There is a banquet for him at one place, and another at the next, and another after that. By the last of them, the crowds are thinner. Then he goes down to the water and gets into a canoe. The canoe takes him across, and it does not bring him back. His wives leave him there. They go, all four. What is left is a small group of attendants who have been with him since the first day. There is a small temple at a place called Titlacauan, well away from the great city and its noise. There is no crowd here. A year of ceremony has come down to a few men and a building at the edge of the lake. He gets out of the canoe and walks to the steps. He has his flutes with him, all of them, every one he learned on. He goes up the first step and breaks a flute against the stone. He goes up the second and breaks the next one. He climbs the whole staircase like that, at his own pace. The steps fill up behind him with the pieces of everything he was taught. At the top the priests are waiting, and they do not make him wait. 5 of them take him, 1 at each limb and 1 at the head. They lay him on his back over the stone. It is finished in about the time it takes to say it. His heart goes up toward the sun. His head goes to the rack where the heads are kept, and the man who will do it next year has already been chosen. He is somewhere in the city that same afternoon, learning how to hold a flute. Sahagan, the friar who collected this account from Nahua elders, added a lesson to it. He wrote that it showed how those who have riches and pleasure in this life will end in poverty and death, that reading is the friar's own. What the ceremony says on its own terms is harder. For 1 year the Aztecs took a man and gave him everything, in public, with the city on its knees. Then they walked him out to a small temple and took it all back. They did it every year, on schedule, to honor the god who was known for exactly that. They were not describing him, they were doing what he does. The most powerful man in Mexico was also his property, and had to say so out loud in front of witnesses. When a new ruler took the mat and the seat in Tezcatlipoca, he went to the temple first, and he went alone. What he said there was recorded. He told the god he was blind and deaf and useless. He told him he was a man of no account, picked up out of the dung. He asked not to be given the rulership. Then he accepted it, and he called himself the god's slave while accepting it. And the priests answered him in the same language. They told him he was not a ruler at all. He was a stand-in. He was the god's flute, the god's lips and jaw and ears and teeth. He was a thing being spoken through. The mat and the seat did not belong to him. They had been lent for as long as the god cared to lend them. The loan could be called in on any morning, without notice. That was the accession of an Aztec emperor, a ceremony for telling him, at the highest volume the state could manage, that he was on loan. Because Tezcatlipoca gives, and Tezcatlipoca takes, and nobody ever found the rule. The accounts are explicit about how it worked. He would raise a man out of nothing and put wealth in his hands, a good house, standing, sons. He would let the man enjoy all of it and get used to it. Then he would take it away, not for a sin, not as a judgment on anything the man had done. He would take it because he had decided to. The man would end in a doorway begging, and other men would look at him and understand something about the world. They said as much to his face. There are prayers from the years of plague, when the city was burying people faster than it could count them. The priests asked him whether he had made these people only to destroy them. They told him the poor were dying, and that the dying had done nothing. They asked how long this was going to go on. They asked him in the end to be finished with it. That is a prayer with no confidence in it anywhere. It is a request to a God they knew was capable of doing this for no reason. His names are the argument, Mokwakela, the mocker, Tezcatlipoca, the enemy of both sides, who is against you and against the man you are fighting. Titlacauan, we are his slaves, and in the same breath, in the same prayers, Epalnemoni, the one by whom we live. They did not think he was fair. They said out loud that he laughed at them, and that they were his toys. They also said that everything they had came from him, so they went to him for rain and for health and for their children. They built him temples. They gave him the best man they could find every single year, because he is not a God you can be right with. There is no correct way to live that puts you out of his reach. He is the wind in the street at night. He is the axe in the dark, waiting to see who walks toward it. He is an old man at a door with a mirror and a cup. He is a naked stranger in a market who takes a city apart in a season. He is a jaguar walking into a country of giants at dusk. And he is still holding the black glass. He is looking into it right now, at all of it at once. Every house, every closed door, every man who thinks his good years are the ones he earned, he never explains it. He never has to. We are his slaves.